1470.
Talk 1470.
WNN.
The opinions expressed on the following sponsored program are strictly those of the host, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors. Good afternoon, and welcome to Forever Young Med Spa's Simple Aesthetics radio show, where for the next hour, we will seek to demystify the world of aesthetics and provide to you, our listening audience, a non-medical opinion on what's hot, what's not, and what works based on our experience of performing over 22,000 treatments since 2005. The views provided on this show should not be considered medical advice, but rather the opinion of the host who has been in the medical aesthetics business since 2005. During this program, we will highlight some of the best new and tried and proven FDA-approved services and go over the technology, how and why it works, results you can expect, and take your questions live on the air. If you have a question you'd rather email, please send it to brian@foreveryoungmedspa.us. And now, here's your host, Brian Sedella.
Good afternoon, South Florida. Welcome back to Forever Young Med Spa presents Simple Aesthetics Radio Hour. Before we get into a show, by the way, last week's show was very well attended, had a fantastic amount of people calling with questions, writing with questions, and we're going to get to those as soon as possible. But any soccer fans out there in South Florida, I guess there's a lot. World Cup mania is now set in. And I'm a guy, so I love all sports. And Sunday, started watching the World Cup with the United States and was getting very excited. In the first half, we tied it up 1-1. And then we went ahead 2-1. And my wife, Diana, walks by and says, "So how much time is left?" And I said, I don't know. Because I guess in soccer, for some strange reason, there's not a countdown clock, so you don't know how much time is left. And I started thinking, if I'm a player in the field and I've just played my guts out for 90 minutes to 100 minutes, it'd be nice to know if I can just suck it up for one more minute and play some defense. So as we all know by now, unfortunately the goal went in and we settled for a tie, but I just don't understand any sport that doesn't have a countdown timer so the players and the public, like me watching, can understand how much time is left on the clock. Okay, so recently I was asked an interesting question. The question was this: what's more important, how you look on the outside or how you are in the inside? Gave me a little pause there, and I said, okay, beauty fades over time, and you can do something about it, but also your inside can change, depending on how life has treated you and how you've been beaten down and how you handle those challenges of life as well. We all know people who kind of look mean on the outside but are wonderful on the inside. And conversely, we know people who look angry on the outside and their inside can match it. So there's many shades of gray of just these two examples as well. Our moms and our grandmas' advice to never judge a book by cover, it's great. And we should all, ascribe to that type of great advice. But that said, the reality of life, and numerous studies consistently demonstrate this point, is that people judge us based on our visual presentations. Our brains are simply wired that way. Those perceptions then obviously can and do change when and if you take the time to get to know a person's makeup and character versus their external facade. So, what describes a great Forever Young Med Spa patient? Our best patient is someone who simply wants their appearance to represent how good they feel inside to the extent possible given their age. Notice that I stated given their age. As an example, a person in their 50s coming in with their old high school picture and stating they want to look like that way again is simply not being realistic. And that type of person is going to be disappointed no matter what they have done. In other words, look as good as you can for as long as you can should be the goal. We have many patients in their 60s who look like they're in the mid to upper 40s, and that's achievable, but not someone in their 50s trying to look like a teenager. We practice a very specialized form of medical aesthetics called natural look aesthetics, in that we try and give everyone kind of a natural look that doesn't look, and forgive the phrase, Hollywood fake. Most of our patients want to roll back the hands of time gracefully, looking great without someone saying, "My God, woman, what have you done?" So that's the goal for most of our patients. I'd say 90 to 95% of our patients want that type of natural look. Now, we do have some models and actors and actresses who come in who for TV appearances who want more of a frozen look. We can accommodate that as well. But the bottom line is most of our patients, they just want something that people are going to say you look great, but like not what have you done. So the bottom line is in all this is that if you're generally not happy on the inside, nothing we do on the outside is likely to make a difference. And by the way, looking good on the outside is optional. And some people love it, and some people don't. It's not for everyone. It's a choice, and it's not a requirement. A few years ago, I was listening to either Leno or Letterman, and I think it was Dr. Wayne Dyer who was on, and he was telling a story that's kind of apropos to the topic I just began with, which is, a couple from the Northeast is looking to move into a neighborhood in California. And they're walking around looking at houses, and they see a neighbor across the street, and they walk over and they say, "Hey, we're thinking about moving from the Northeast into your neighborhood, and we'd like to know what you think of the neighborhood and what you think of the neighbors." And the neighbor shot back a question and said, "Well, let me ask you, how was your old neighborhood?" And they said, "Well, that's why we're moving. We hated it. The people were nasty and mean and ugly and just horrible. Well, that's why we're getting out of there." And the neighbor said, "Well, I expect that's probably what you'll find here as well." 2 weeks later, another couple coming into the same neighborhood looking for a house, and the same neighbor happened to be outside. And the question again to this neighbor was, "So how do you like living here? How's the neighborhood? How's the neighbors?" And he asked the same question back. And the question again was, "Well, how's the neighborhood you're moving from?" "Oh, we love it. The neighbors love us. We love them. We're so sorry to leave." And the neighbor said, "Well, I expect you're going to find the same here." So again, if you're happy, loving, kind on the inside, and you want to have your outside match that, we can help. Okay, I want to give a shout out real quick to a company that just helped me out of a bind, and they've helped me out of many binds over the past 10 years we've been in business. It's called Off Lease Laser and Repair Center. The gentleman's name is Sam Lear, and they sell off-lease lasers, medical lasers, and also repair medical lasers. And if you're looking for someone who's reputable, who does a great job, who never charges for estimates and no delivery fees, I want you to give Sam a call at 305-417-6220. Thank you, Sam. Okay, so we get a little sip of water here. Lots of studies have come out in the past few weeks. And I know we're already in June, but a lot of the studies that are from 2013, the data is just now kind of hitting us. And before I get to that, I'd like to ask Freddie, could you put up that one, the first set of pictures, Freddie? Had quite a few people write into us from the radio show, which has a live TV feed as well. And the question had to do with what is the difference between VASER and VASER High Def. So for those of you tuning in, you can actually see the pictures. The top pictures, I believe this is a 52-year-old man in pretty good shape. And by the way, the scar you see in the top pictures was from an emergency appendectomy he had, not from any surgery we did. And the bottom picture showed the same gentleman, I believe this is 6 weeks out after VASER High Definition. So what VASER High Definition is a very specialized form of liposuction using a product called the VASER, which uses ultrasonic energy to break apart the fat in a more effective manner than standard liposuction. VASER High Def, which Dr. LaGrasso uses, also has some very highly specialized cannulas that can go between the fat and the muscle. So as you can see, or for those of you on the live feed here can see, this gentleman had virtually no definition to his abs whatsoever, or his chest, or his shoulders, or his arms. And Dr. LaGrasso was able to sculpt him a six-pack he only dreamed about and never could have. And he also sculpted in his chest and added some fat that had moved from his abdomen to the shoulders, giving him more definition. So it's truly a remarkable transformation. And the cost of VASER High Def is more expensive than standard VASER liposuction because it also takes over twice the time. So if a standard patient comes in for 3 areas of vaso liposuction and it's about 3 hours, for Vaser high definition, it's usually double or even more that for the surgeon to sculpt that type of figure. Kind of amazing, and I encourage you to go to the website and kind of take a look, because you'll see these pictures that everyone else is seeing who's now live on the web. Okay, so interesting studies. It's been estimated that less than 10% of the U.S. population has tried Botox and fillers. The market is growing dramatically. Reading a study by GBI Research, and it states that the U.S. market was worth $2.5 billion in 2013, and it's going to, by 2020, be $5.4 billion. So in less than 10 years, it's going to more than double. The rapid growth has been attributed to the economic recovery, greater consumer awareness about injectables, and younger generations looking to fight and prevent the signs of aging. We'll talk about that more in a few minutes. Individuals born between 1980 and 1994 present a significant opportunity for companies to further grow the business. At Forever Young Med Spa as an example, and this is kind of shocking, but it's true. In the past 2 years, most of our growth is coming from two segments, 20-something-year-old women and men. Men are older, but the women are coming in because they want to prevent lines and wrinkles from ever forming. So it's kind of an interesting change over the past almost 10 years, where most of the patients were in their 40s and 50s and 60s. Now they're getting younger and younger and younger. GBI Research also added that the growth in the market will be even higher once topical neurotoxins, now Botox is a neurotoxin, as are two other competing Botox equivalents, if you will, called Xeomin and Dysport. And they're expecting that these topical neurotoxins will be on the market within 1 to 2 years. Personally, based on the FDA that I know, I think it's going to take a little longer. It took many years for the Botox equivalents of Dysport and Xeomin to get their FDA approvals, and those were injected into the muscles just the same as Botox. So I believe a topically applied version of Botox, if you will, is going to take a little longer to get approved because we don't know if it's going to be dispersed. It can't be applied as precisely as an injection, so we'll be following that very closely over the next couple of years. So we talked about what percentage of the public has had Botox and fillers, and we're going to get to the rest of the study in about a minute and a half or so. So sit back, relax, we'll be right back to you after the break. This is Brian Sedella from Forever Young Med Spa for the Simple Aesthetics Radio Hour.
Turn back the hands of time with South Florida's #1 medical aesthetics center, Forever Young Med Spa. Have you ever wished you could turn back the hands of time? Lose those lines and wrinkles and enjoy the healthy, flawless skin you had during your younger years? Ever wanted to rid yourself from hair under your arms, on your legs, or around your bikini area? Or men, the hair on your backs? Well, now you can at Forever Young Med Spa, where we provide the latest surgical and non-surgical procedures and rejuvenation products to restore your youthful skin appearance and enhance your self-image. Under the direction of renowned board-certified plastic surgeon Dr. Jeffrey LaGrasso, our staff of highly trained and certified professionals will meet with you to go over your goals and recommend services that best fit your lifestyle, your budget, and your expectations. So no matter if you're looking for surgical procedures such as Vaser high-definition body sculpting, a mommy makeover, or non-surgical services such as the latest FDA-approved injectables, Vanquish body contouring, Exilis Elite for skin tightening, or our Hydrafacial MD treatment for your face, you can relax and let Forever Young Med Spa complete your journey towards a younger, more vibrant-looking you. Call us now and schedule a complimentary consultation at 954-450-2626. That's 954-450-2626. Or for more information on all our services, please visit our website, www.foreveryoungmedspa.us.
Okay, Okay, welcome back to the Simple Aesthetics Radio Hour, hosted by myself, Brian Sedella, the founder of Forever Young Med Spa. You know, on the way here, I was driving and I was listening to a radio station and they were having some kind of contest, and I thought, well, now I have my own radio show, so why not do a contest? So, here it is. You know, every one of us has a favorite artist that we grew up loving, and I have mine as well. Those who know me know the name very well. So I thought I'd repeat a phrase that introduces a particular song from a concert in 1972. And if you can call in, and the call-in number, by the way, and I apologize not giving that earlier, is 888-565-1470. That's 888-565-1470. So here's the contest. This artist introduced this song at a landmark concert in 1972, and it goes something like this. I need, I want, I care, I weep, I ache. And then he introduces a song. So if you can call us at 888-565-1470 if you know the name of that song, and I'll even add a bonus in if you can tell me what the meaning of the song was. And I can't say any more than that because it'll give away the song. Very, very popular song in the 70s. Okay, so again, if you have the answer to that question, 888-565-1470. So we spoke about, before the break, that 10% of the population approximately has received Botox and filler injections. Another study, this time by the American Society of Dermatology, surveyed about 8,300 consumers, and they found that 52% of those responders are interested in getting wrinkle reduction treatments over the next year, or skin tightening treatments over the next year. Which brings me to my next segment, which is the questions that flooded our website. And most of those questions had to do with Botox, which is the most popular non-surgical medical aesthetic treatment. And lots of people simply just don't understand or wanted more information on Botox. So let's do a little primer on Botox. First, it's not just Botox, it's Botox, Dysport, and Xeomin. They're all three the same type of botulinum toxin, type A. They're all three FDA approved under that type of medication. So let's refer to Botox, Dysport, and Xeomin as BAs. So the first question we receive is, what exactly do they do? So all BAs work the same, and in that they relax the dynamic muscles that causes lines and wrinkles. And if you didn't know, which probably most people don't, there are 43 muscles and 7 main nerves in a person's face. I want you to think about 43 muscles and 7 nerves in your face. The training and skill to know which muscles to inject, where in that muscle to inject, how much to inject, how far apart to inject, are just some of the reasons why a highly skilled injector with a great aesthetic eye and a gentle touch is so hard to find. At Forever Young Med Spa, we have honestly one of the best injectors in all of South Florida in Olivia Manor. I can't tell you how many reviews that have been published online about how great she is. And if you've never had an injection for Botox and fillers, please give our office a call at 954-450-2626, and we'll set you up for a free consultation. That's 954-450-2626. Okay, so next question. What are the most common injection areas? Well, there are 3 most common injection areas are between the eyes, called the glabella. So if you put your finger between your eyes and you kind of squint, that's the glabella muscle. Then there's the forehead, which is obvious, and then there's crow's feet. So those are the 3 most common injection sites that we typically treat. There are others, but those are the 3 most common. How many Botox injections are there annually, and is it safe? Well, on the safety, I think it was Dr. Rosenfeld who said, in every medicine there's a little poison. And if you tuned in last week, I spoke about the aspirin, which is the most commonly used medication worldwide for many, many, many decades. And I try to equate that, an aspirin can work the same for me. Let's say I have a headache. It can cure my headache. In patient number 2, it does nothing. And in patient number 3, it causes a severe reaction. That's the way it is with almost every medication. There's nothing is ever 100% safe. And if you'd like to read about Botox, go to Allergan's website or to Dysport's website or to Siemens' website and read the black box warning from the FDA. I will tell you that in our practice, in 10 years and thousands and thousands and thousands of injections, we've never had a major complication from the injection of a BA. So in 2013, there were 6.3 million injections of Botox by the American Society of Plastic Surgery. Conversely, just going back to the year 2000, there were only 686,000. So you can see the growth is just incredible. And if you add in dermatologists and medical spas like Forever Young Med Spa and even private doctors that do Botox and filler injections on their own, you'll easily be over $10 million in annual injections. Next question. What other areas can be injected besides the 3 I mentioned? Most common other areas are the chin, the neck, called the Nefertiti lift, bunny lines, and upper lip. So there are many other off-label uses for Botox, including for hyperhidrosis, for people who have excessive sweating in their hands and in their underarms. Botox or all the BAs do a great job of reducing that excessive sweating, and typically last about 9 months to a year. And the next question, how long do they last? Okay, in general, and this goes for all 3 of the different BAs, Botox, Dysport, and Xeomin, they all last on average about 3 to 4 months. However, if you're a smoker, the results simply do not last as long. And most patients who begin with BAs come in typically 3 to 4 times a year to maintain that look. Also, some recent studies have started to show more and more that patients who reach 65 to 75 years of age, who typically have received Botox, Dysport, or Xeomin, the effectiveness begins to wane as we get older as well. The good news is if you started with Botox and then you switch to Xeomin, it seems to prolong or reduce the amount of time it takes to lose the effectiveness of those medications. But overall, they last 3 to 4 months. Next question. I'm considering getting Botox or Dysport. How are they different? Good question. So they're all the same in terms of types of medication. They're all BAs. So the difference that we really see in our practice is Dysport probably has, and some studies are showing this as well, a faster onset of action. So typically when you get a Botox injection, it takes approximately 7 to 10 days to kick in. So we're seeing about 4 to 6 days, 4 to 7 days with Dysport in terms of it kicking in to the muscle and relaxing it so that the wrinkles smooth out faster. But, Botox has been around forever. They started the market. They have far and away the most market share. And Xeomin, the 3rd of the BAs, is the purest form of BA, Botox, that's available because it doesn't have any other filler. I think in Europe it's actually called Puretox, but for whatever reason in the U.S. they call it Xeomin. So over time, some patients can develop a resistance to Botox or even Dysport. Pardon me. And Xeomin works really well because it has no additive fillers, no added substances that can cause you to have a delayed response or weakened response. Next question. Which of the BAs is best? And that's difficult to answer, but I'm going to give you our what we found to be true. So, studies that I've been reading in our own practice and also in speaking to many other centers across the country really show little difference between the 3, except what I mentioned for the faster onset of action of Dysport. Since Xeomin and Dysport cost patients typically about 10 to 15% less, in our own practice, we're down, most of our patients come in now and purchase either Dysport or Xeomin about 80% of the time because they can save money, and 15% 3 to 4 times a year adds up to a whole lot of money. So, yeah, we love Dysport. As a matter of fact, if you ask Lydia what she prefers to inject Dysport because the patients definitely respond a little faster than with Xeomin or Botox. Another question that came in, this one, interesting, came in from Boston, so someone in Boston listened to our show, or watched our show. What's the difference between a BA, remember BA again is Botox, Xeomin, or Dysport, and a filler? BAs treat dynamically caused lines and wrinkles caused by relaxing the muscles that cause them. Fillers treat volume or fat lost over time by revolumizing areas of the face, such as the nasolabial folds, the high cheeks, jawlines, lips. We even do quite a few non-surgical nose jobs for patients that have a little bump in their nose. We use a product called Radiesse that smooths it out, makes it all even, and it's a fabulous result that lasts about a year and a half, depending on the patient. So we also use a lot of different fillers to get different results for patients. And if you recall from last week's show, also one of the questions that came into my email inbox was how many syringes of filler does the average patient need? And the reply was based on a very unique study that was done over a 5-year period that showed that on average, and remember everyone's different, but on average, a 40-year-old will need a minimum of 4 syringes, and a 50-year-old will need a minimum of 5 syringes at their initial visit, not including lips. If you do lips, you're going to require more. If I could, the biggest mistake that patients make coming in is with a set budget, which I understand, like not everyone has unlimited money, least of all me. So you want to get the most bang for the buck. But look at it this way. If I were to take a syringe of filler and empty it out into a teaspoon, it wouldn't even fill up a teaspoon. So there's just not a whole lot of product inside of one of these syringe vials. It's either 0.8, 1.0 up to 1.5 in product. So there's not a lot you can do with just one syringe. But some patients come in and say, I just want 1 syringe of Restylane from the nasolabial folds. They're going to get some correction, but nowhere near full correction. So again, as a kind of a rule of thumb, keep in mind, we'll get back to that in a second. You're listening to the Forever Young Med Spa Simple Aesthetics Radio Hour, and we'll be back in about 2 or 4 minutes. Thank you.
Turn back the hands of time with South Florida's #1 medical aesthetics center, Forever Young Med Spa. Have you ever wished you could turn back the hands of time? Lose those lines and wrinkles and enjoy the healthy, flawless skin you had during your younger years? Ever wanted to rid yourself from hair under your arms, on your legs, or around your bikini area? Or men, the hair on your backs? Well, now you can at Forever Young Med Spa, where we provide the latest surgical and non-surgical procedures and rejuvenation products to restore your youthful skin appearance and enhance your self-image. Under the direction of renowned board-certified plastic surgeon Dr. Jeffrey Lagrasso, our staff of highly trained and certified professionals will meet with you to go over your goals and recommend services that best fit your lifestyle, your budget, and your expectations. So no matter if you're looking for surgical procedures such as Vaser high-definition body sculpting, a mommy makeover, or non-surgical services such as the latest FDA-approved injectables, Vanquish body contouring, Exilis Elite for skin tightening, or our HydraFacial MD treatment for your face, you can relax and let Forever Young Med Spa complete your journey towards a younger, more vibrant-looking you. Call us now and schedule a complimentary consultation at 954-450-2626. That's 954-450-2626. Or for more information on all our services, please visit our website, www.foreveryoungmedspa.us.
Okay, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. joining us. And if you'd like to call in, the 888-565-1470 is open. 888-565-1470 is open. So back to the kind of the studies or the questions that came in from last week's radio show. Just real quick recap on the fillers. So if you're in your 40s, 4 syringes, 50s, 5 syringes, the good news though is once you get a proper fill, most patients need 25 to 40% less in subsequent fills. Also, when you have the proper amount of fills, it tends to last longer than if you just get one. So you get both longevity and reduction of the amount of filler needed in your next visits. Okay, another question, this time from a guy. What percentage of men are getting Botox versus women? Well, just when we started in 2005, I think I could count on one hand the amount of men that came into the practice. As a matter of fact, because there's so many women in my practice, all our practitioners are women. Whenever a guy would walk by, kind of like tackle them, bring them in the office, come here, talk to me. There's an actual man here. So it started with almost none, and now it's about 22% of our practice, which is amazing. And so 22% of our practice are men who come in for Botox and fillers, I should say BA, so Botox, Dysport, or Xeomin, and fillers, lasers, hydrofacials. It's one of the fastest growing segments of our practice. So just a few years ago, men made up less than 5%, and now it's up to 22%. So men, I'll tell you a story. Is my office, when I'm at my office, is right next door to our laser hair room, and I don't know where I read this, but I read a study that men don't take pain quite as well as ladies do, and I can tell you from my own practice and my own ears that is most definitely true. Laser hair removal is not, I wouldn't say it's a painful treatment, but it's ouchy. It kind of feels like snapping rubber bands. And women who are used to getting their eyebrows plucked and all sorts of things that they have to go through to maintain their looks, they don't make a noise. But when I get a guy in the room next to me getting laser hair and they're zapping their chest hairs or other areas, let's just say it's pretty darn loud, and the language can be kind of colorful. Okay, so what ages do patients come in for Botox? Another great question. Again, before, it was most of the patients were in their 40s, 50s, and 60s. Some people in their 70s and some in their 80s. Now our fastest growing segment are patients in their 20s. So why does a patient in their 20s come into Forever Young Med Spa to get Botox, Dysport, Xeomin, and fillers? I asked that question myself, and it's the most frequently replied answer is, I don't want to look like my mother or grandmother. And studies are now showing that women and men who come in their 20s to get Botox and fillers, they don't get lines and wrinkles. They prevent them from ever forming, or forming far later in life. So that's the fastest growing segment of our patient population, are patients in their 20s, early 30s coming in because they don't want to have lines and wrinkles. And again, remember, for those patients in their 60s and 70s, it's not too late, but realize the later you start, the less effective Botox is going to be. And you may need, in addition to Botox, some filler in the areas that typically we just use only Botox to treat. Another question, this time actually came from Key West. Does Botox hurt, and do patients numb first? Pain is a very subjective thing. For myself, I don't think Botox hurts. I think most patients, I'd say 85%, 90% don't believe Botox really hurts. Fillers can be a little painful, but Botox, because we use a 31 gauge needle, is very, very thin. It does go into the muscle, but I'd say 95% of our patients, very few, ever receive any numbing agent prior to getting Botox. And Libya is also an outstanding injector, and we use 30 or 31 gauge needles. Very, very fine. Hardly even a drop of blood comes out. So it's a very comfortable, tolerable procedure. So nothing to be afraid of. Kind of a quick story. My first medical director was a plastic surgeon who was actually the chief of staff at Memorial Miramar. I'll say his name, Blaine Shacken, great guy. Dr. Shacken is a wonderful doctor. So before we opened up, I said to Dr. Shacken, I said, can you please tell me, in your practice, what's the most painful area of the face to inject? And he didn't waste a second. He said, your lips. Lips, because you have the most nerve ending in your lips, it's the most painful, and we always numb before we inject a patient. We either numb with a topical numbing agent or we do a dental block. So I said, you know what? I want to feel the worst pain that a patient could possibly feel. So go ahead and shoot my lip up with some Restylane. And yes, I can hear everyone laughing. I was an idiot. So, and I had a friend of mine who was my nurse practitioner at the time, Brian Willey, in the room with me. And as Dr. Shacken's injecting my lip, I was literally crying. It was so freaking painful, and he's laughing. He's just laughing his butt off as I'm sitting there in excruciating pain. And even Dr. Shacken broke into just a tremendous belly laugh. So be careful what you wish for, but for our patients at Forever Young, we don't do that. We're not barbaric. Again, we typically, for most patients, especially for the lips, we always give a numbing agent, either a dental block or our topical numbing agents. Actually, probably 85% of our patients don't even need a dental block because the numbing is so excellent. And we also we mix lidocaine in and have done for years, well before the FDA approved these fillers with lidocaine. We inject all our fillers with extra lidocaine, so that the injection is as pain-free as it possibly can be. Okay, I want to get to some more studies because this stuff really is coming hot and fast off the presses here. The top 5 plastic surgery procedures and non-surgical procedures in 2013. The data is kind of out now, finally. So, if I were to ask you, the listening audience, what the top 5 procedures would be, I bet you most of you could probably guess that. So, nose jobs, number 1. Eyelid surgery or blepharoplasty, number 2. Liposuction, number 3. Breast reduction. Actually, you know what? I think I'm on the wrong chart. Oh, I apologize. Let's go back. Strike what you just heard. Forget you ever heard it. Okay, back to the top 5 procedures. Breast augmentation, number 1. Nose reshaping, 2. Breast or eyelid surgery, number 3. Liposuction, 4. And facelifts, number 1. Over to the non-surgical side of the house. Botox or botulinum toxin A, BAs, number 1, far and away. Fillers, number 2. Chemical peels, number 3, which, by the way, chemical peels are awesome. We do a ton of chemical peels in our office with a VI peel or Jesner peel or a modified or a TCA peel. They do a great job. Lasers kind of took over the luster of having peels, but peels are also very effective. Number 4, laser hair removal, which is very big in our practice, and microdermabrasion, which is still hanging in there, the 5th. Over almost 1 million procedures of microderma done annually. So the next one was for guys, not for in general. So the top 5 male cosmetic procedures are nose reshaping, eyelid surgery or bleph, liposuction, which is again huge in our practice for men, breast reduction in men, which I didn't expect to find, but it's number 4, and then a facelift. For non-surgical procedures, kind of like, almost like the women. A little bit different, but kind of the same 5 are there. So BAs, Botox, Dysport, and Xeomin, number 1. Laser hair removal is number 2, and I think on the women it was number 4. Microderm is 3, where the women was number 5. Chemical peels is 4, it was 3 on the women. And soft tissue fillers are 5 compared to 2 on the women. Don't know the reason for that, because most patients who come in, male patients, will come in and get the Botox and the filler typically in the same visit. So next, let's go over, and let me give the number out again. I keep getting notification to send out the number. So 888-565-1470, 888-565-1470, or if you want to email me, as many patients did last week. I apologize for not giving that out earlier. It's Brian at, B-R-I-N, at foreveryoungmetspa.us. That's Brian at foreveryoungmetspa.us. So, many patients who come in, and I'm going to blame media on this. It's hard to watch any late night TV and not hear commercials for breast augmentations or tummy tucks or liposuction, and they have these prices, $19.99, $14.99, $23.99. We can save you money. And I really, really hate that in the practice of medicine. And again, medical aesthetics is a practice of medicine. I mean, what's next? You're going to go out and, replace your heart valve and get a free chemical peel. It's really, really tacky. But you see this all the time. And that conditions patients into thinking, I want to ask about the price first. Well, price is important. It's always important. But isn't the qualifications of the practitioner, the surgeon, more important than price? Isn't the reputation of the center more important than price? Isn't the fact that they use only FDA-approved products more important than price? And finally, isn't the result more important than price? So, price is always important, but if I had to ask our average patient to rank in order of importance what their buying criteria is, price is almost always last. But some patients come in because they're conditioned to these prices on TV, and they talk about price, which we're happy to give, but we're typically not the lowest price in town, which brings me to my next segment, which the American Board of Plastic Surgery just released their average fees for procedures in 2013. Note that the fees do not include the cost of the surgical center or the anesthesiologist. On average, patients should expect to pay about $1,000 for 1 hour surgical time for the center and the anesthesiologist and the nurse tech and the nurse and so on and so forth. And then the price starts to drop from that $1,000 in hours 2 through 6. So I'm going to go over a couple of these because I think it's pretty important to go over this. And what we're going to do is kind of take a short break and come back to this and go over I won't go over all the different surgical procedures, but we'll go over quite a few of them. And this is the Forever Young Med Spa Simple Aesthetics Radio Hour, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Thanks for joining Brian Sedella, President and founder of South Florida's... Turn back the hands of time with South Florida's #1 medical aesthetics center, Forever Young Med Spa. Have you ever wished you could turn back the hands of time? Lose those lines and wrinkles and enjoy the healthy, flawless skin you had during your younger years? Ever wanted to rid yourself from hair under your arms, on your legs, or around your bikini area? Or men, the hair on your backs? Well, now you can at Forever Young Med Spa, where we provide the latest surgical and non-surgical procedures and rejuvenation products to restore your youthful skin appearance and enhance your self-image. Under the direction of renowned board-certified plastic surgeon Dr. Jeffrey Lagrasso, our staff of highly trained and certified professionals will meet with you to go over your goals and recommend services that best fit your lifestyle, your budget, and your expectations. So no matter if you're looking for surgical procedures such as Vaser high-definition body sculpting, a mommy makeover, or non-surgical services such as the latest FDA-approved injectables, Vanquish body contouring, Exilis Elite for skin tightening, or a HydraFacial MD treatment for your face, you can relax and let Forever Young Med Spa complete your journey towards a younger, more vibrant-looking you. Call us now and schedule a complimentary consultation at 954-450-2626. That's 954-450-2626. Or for more information on all our services, please visit our website, www.foreveryoungmedspa.us.
Welcome back to the Simple Aesthetics Radio Hour with your host, Brian Sedella. That's me. just dawned on me, I have my own radio show. Wow. A few years ago, I was I had a seminar, and one of these futurists was talking and saying that in this audience, people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s, and I think I was in my mid-30s then, are probably going to have 4 to 6 new careers over their lifetime that probably don't even exist today. And he was dead right. I mean, I went from corporate America to being a C-level executive in corporate America to the world of medical aesthetics 10 years ago. And I knew nothing about medical aesthetics 10 years ago. I didn't even know I liked it, but I really, really, really love this business. So, as I mentioned earlier, the average fees nationwide for a board-certified plastic surgeon for these different procedures came out recently. And I want to go over some of these with you, because if you're seeing prices that are far less than this, you got to ask yourself a question: how is that possible? If these are the average fees that someone can produce this type of price, there's got to be a reason for it. So let me give you a few, and if you want more, if you want the entire list, by the way, simply email me again at brian@foreveryoungmedspa.us. That's Brian, B-R-I-A-N, at foreveryoungmedspa.us, and I'll email you the entire fee schedule so you can take a look at it. So, Botox. And again, Botox, whether it's Botox, Dysport, or Xeomin, the average cost per area treated is $380. And I think that's a reasonable price. We see that a lot in our own practice. Maybe a little bit less. Chemical peels, $720. That's kind of hard to see this, because it just depends on the type of chemical peels. You know, there's many different types, many different strengths of chemical peels. So that's a little high for a medium depth peel, but for a TCA peel is probably true, or a phenol peel. But for our most popular peel is called a VI peel, and it's a little more than half of that. Intense pulse light treatments. You know, last week we talked about IPL photofacials and how wonderful those treatments are to keeping you looking young, and that the study showed that 10 years from now you can look younger than you look today, based on the Stanford study that showed that IPL photofacials turn on rejuvenating genes that keep you looking young. The average price they're showing is about $436, which is reasonable. Laser hair removal is $301 per treatment per area. Again, reasonable, but a little on the high side depending on what you're having done. If you're having a lip or chin done, it shouldn't be $301 per treatment. Laser resurfacing non-ablative, which is, if you recall from last week's show, Fraxel, or ablative, which can be a CO2 or even a fraction of a 2940 erbium laser. The average cost for an ablative treatment, and typically you need only one of these type of treatments, is $21.57. Ablative treatments, kind of like how they sound, it's going to have some downtime. Non-ablative, Fraxel, or in our practice, the 1540 erbium fractionated laser, or our Matrix RF, both fractionated devices, about $1,025 is the average fee, or a little bit less than that as well. And then you come down to the fillers, and the fillers listed on this survey are Radiesse, collagen-type fillers like Evolence and Zyderm, HA fillers, hyaluronic acid fillers such as Juvederm, Juvederm Plus, Ultra, Perlane, Restylane, Belotero, and the polylactic acid filler that is Sculptra. So prices range on average between $568 and $969, depending on which filler you're using, which is again a pretty reasonable estimate of what they are. Although a quick note that in our practice at Forever Young Med Spa, if you do more than one filler, we typically give you discounts on the second, third, fourth, and fifth. We also have at Forever Young Med Spa something we rolled out a couple of years ago that has really taken off like crazy, which is our membership program that offers you year-round great prices on Botox, fillers, lasers, hydrofacials, about everything we offer. And lots of patients, hundreds of patients, will take advantage of our membership program. And again, if you'd like to know what that is, email me again at brian@foreveryoungmedspa.us, and we will get it out to you. Now, on surgical procedures, and again, going back to the to the notes I had. For the surgical procedures, this does not include the cost of the surgical center or the anesthesiologist or the support OR team. On average, patients should expect to pay about $1,000 for the first hour of surgical time, and every other hour goes down a little bit from that $1,000 start. So breast augmentations for saline. The average physician fee nationwide for a board-certified plastic surgeon, and if you recall last week's show, a board-certified plastic surgeon has on average about 7 years more medical training, specifically in surgery, first as a general surgeon, then specializing in plastic surgery, than a regular MD does. So they are far and away the best person to operate on any plastic surgery procedure. So breast augmentation, on average, is $36.78. And I can hear people saying, "Oh my God, I saw it on the radio or TV for $19.99. Ask yourself how. Sounds too good to be true. It is. Another very, very popular procedure that Dr. LaGrasso does, and probably one of the things he's most known for besides Vaser, is the Brazilian butt lift. On average, the physician fee is $4,129 for a Brazilian butt lift. Liposuction. Liposuction, again, we use a very specialized device called the Vaser, which has 3 modalities. First for Vaser conventional body sculpting, then Vaser high definition body sculpting, and finally Vaser smooth, which Dr. LaGrasso uses to, I wouldn't say eliminate, but most patients get about 70 to 80% improvement, and it's a permanent improvement with the Vaser smooth. An outstanding device in the right hands, capable hands of Dr. LaGrasso. So liposuction on average per area treated is $28.66. So if you're getting your upper abs, your lower abs, your love handles, your bra bulge, whatever it might be, the price is going to go up from there. Rhinoplasty, average cost for nose reshaping is $45.05. That's kind of typical. Neck lift is $4,102. And there's one more I want to go over. Breast lift. Lots of our patients are getting breast lifts, following having kids and breastfeeding and another kid and more breastfeeding. So a lot of patients are coming in for the mommy makeovers, which is a combination of a breast lift with or without an implant. It just depends on the person. I'd say about 80% of the patients that come in who get a breast lift also get some type of implant, whether it's saline or silicone. The average cost just for the breast lift is $42.07. So, and again, if you want to see all these, I have a whole list of different procedures we can send out to you. If you're out there looking at cosmetic surgery / plastic surgery, and you want to know if the prices are accurate and what the average price is nationwide, again, for a board-certified plastic surgeon, I can send you that list at 954. Well, actually, you can call us as well, 954-450-2626, or email me at brian@foreveryoungmedspa.us. One last one to go over that kind of highlighted and kind of skipped over was a tummy tuck. Tummy tuck, the average cost for procedure is $5,217. So that's our show for today. And if you want to look as good as you feel, please give us a call. Again, at 954-450-2626. That's 954-450-2626. By the way, all our consultations are always complimentary. I had quite a few calls last week or emails asking what the cost for a consultation was, and that's with Dr. LaGrasso as well. Typically, he comes to our office on Wednesdays or Thursdays in the afternoon, and we see the consultations at that point. And once you see Dr. LaGrasso, he'll go over the different options, what he recommends you have done, and then I will take it from there and give you the prices, usually the next day via email. We like everything to be in writing for our patients. So next week, we're going to try and get some live guests into the studio audience and have some more interaction. I want to thank you all for listening. Again, this is Forever Young Med Spa Simple Aesthetics Radio Hour. I'm Brian Sedella, and thank you for tuning in to our show today.
for joining Brian Sedella, President and founder of South Florida's #1 medical aesthetics center, Forever Young Med Spa in Cooper City. Join us next week as Brian will again demystify the world of medical aesthetics and provide you, our listening audience, a non-medical opinion on what's hot, what's not, and what really works. You can contact Forever Young Med Spa at 954-450-2626 or visit our website at foreveryoungmedspa.us. The opinions expressed on the preceding sponsored program were strictly those of its hosts, guests, and callers, and not necessarily those of this station, its staff, management, or sponsors.